Before we even get started, that crash that we just watched, this is after that crash. So the way it worked, I went out, did a bunch of flying, a bunch of different spots, really got the feel for this over the last couple weeks. So instead of just getting it, doing a review, and then flying it, it was like, no, I want to really feel this thing out, see what it's about. So all the flying footage has been over the past few weeks. That crash specifically, man, when I hit the tree and it was upside down going into the concrete, I was like, yeah, it's gone. It's not coming back from this, especially the camera. So the little 360 GO, I'm using the stock kind of mount that come with the 95x. And I was like, yeah, it's all going to be exploded. No. From that crash, I actually tried to take off. It flipped it over, turtle moded it. We can use turtle moded as a verb. Anyway, flipped it back over and actually flew it back to the truck. The only thing that really did is the camera kind of repositioned itself within the mount. But it was fine. I flew a few more batteries after that. So, I mean, it is a little banged up, scratched up, but it's holding up well. But anyway, this is the review video for the BetaFPV 95x version 2. To narrow it down a little bit further, they actually sent me the analog version. So that's what this is. I haven't seen the digital version, so we're not going to talk about that. So analog version, BetaFPV 95x. Let's do a review. Welcome back to the channel. My name's TJ. If it's your first time here, we do product reviews, testing, tutorials, a bunch of different things, usually around flying stuff like drones, airplanes, things like that. So if it is your first time here, click the subscribe button, get notifications rolling in so you can see when we do fun stuff like this. And if it is your first time here and you've never heard of buddyrc, well, buddyrc is an online store. If you go to buddyrc.com, you can find all kinds of products, well, things like this. The 95x will be on there. It's not on there yet. If it's not on there, there's all kinds of other places to buy it. Obviously, if you buy it from us, thank you, because it supports what we do and allows us to do more of that. So we'll quit rambling about that and get right into the actual review. So this thing, if you haven't gathered, I absolutely love it. It's taken everything I'm throwing at it. There's really nothing bad. Okay, there is a few things. So let's get the bad out of the way first. It's really simple. It's not really bad. The camera mount for the little camera is 3D printed, and the only issue that I found was when it was in my case, because it's not really secure in my case. So the camera has these two arms that come out from the frame, and they can get, I don't know really the word, they can get out of line. So when I was flying level, it looked like I was flying at an angle because the camera was crooked. That's really the only downside, and it's not really a negative. It's a thing that you have to realize when you get this. Make sure your camera's level before you fly. Otherwise, you're going to look like me and think you're crooked when you're not. So the way I do it is I just look dead on at the camera, make sure it's level with the frame. Problem fixed. And then one other thing is I went out early in the morning the other day and got a really cool shot. It was awesome. Sun was rising. There was a tree. It looked beautiful until I got back to the truck and realized there was so much jello in the footage that I literally couldn't use it. And what it was this is a 15-degree camera mount. And the bobbins that hold this on, there's a screw and a nut in the center one. So I was thinking, okay, I can use the nut and tighten it down to actually lessen my camera angle, which did happen. Like that was a thing. And I was like, cool, it's a feature. It's awesome. No, it's not. The bobbins take out the jello. It allows you to have some really cool smooth footage. By tightening it down so much, it actually took away that feature and it introduced the jello. So if you're flying around and you notice any kind of jello in your HD footage, whether you're using the Insta360 GO or the naked GoPro, tighten and loosen this nut. It's going to add or remove tension on those bobbins. The way I'm using mine right now, the nut is actually not even touching the bobbin. So it's completely kind of just riding on the bobbins themselves. I said bobbins a lot. Say it a few more times, bobbins, bobbins. So that was like the only thing that I found out the hard way. So I wasn't able to use that cool clip because of the jello, and it made it look ugly. And it wasn't good for this because this really makes good, smooth footage. On the same thing with the bobbins, the only thing that I wish is, so when I got this, in order to get the 3D printed Insta360 GO mount on, I had to remove this little plate on top of the bobbins. The single hardest thing that I've done in this hobby, and I've done a lot of stuff in this hobby, is get that stupid plate back on those bobbins. It took a while. I'm an expert at it now, but for the first go at trying to reinstall the Go on this, that sucked. But that's on me. That's not a complaint on this. That's my skills lack the bobbins. So we'll kind of work our way from the outside to the inside of the drone, starting with the motors. Motors, you got 1106 4500 kV. We're spinning the Gem Fan D63 tri-blade props. F405 flight controller, 16 amp 4-in-1 ESC, running BL 32. It says V2, so I assume that they've updated it since the V1. Then you have on this one, like we said, it was the analog version, so it's all analog, but it's the M02 VTX, and I really like it. So this one specifically is Crossfire. You can get it Crossfire, FreeSky, DSM, or Futaba. They sent the Crossfire one, which I am glad because I love Crossfire. But the VTX in the goggles, so DVR, I don't really like showing DVR because I know, at least in my goggles, it's not a true representation of what you're seeing in the goggles. It actually shows a little bit more static, but it really does a good job. So I have it on 350 milliwatt, and I've been able to go pretty much anywhere that I've wanted to go. I don't do any crazy long range flying. Like here at the shop, I actually flew it all the way down the road before it really started breaking up. So it got probably a good quarter mile. It's all dependent on your location, your signal floor, a lot of stuff. But for this type of drone, it's going to be more than adequate, and it does a really good job. The camera they have on here is the EOS, I gotta cheat, EOS V2 camera. It's branded by BetaFPV. The colors and everything in the video, for me, I'm really, so my opinion is based on, does it work? Yeah. Does it look good? Yeah. It doesn't really get blown out too much from the sun, and when I transition from a bright area to a dark area, it's pretty quick on that switch over, that transition, to actually show you where you're going, and you're not going to fly directly into a wall. I do like the antenna mounting that they have on the back here. So the Crossfire antennas just come out to the side, and the tape that they have, I haven't broken the tape yet, and I've crashed this quite a few times and fairly hard. The VTX antenna on this one is a little 3D printed mount, and it's nudged in here right up against the carbon. So I was kind of curious on how the reception would be with this, but like I said, neither control or video, I'm having zero problems with this. Now with the quad kind of being at, well, actually, let's talk batteries. So batteries, they recommend a 4-cell, 450 milliamp hour. I got these from Tattoo, and they're working awesome. BetaFPV says you get about 3.5 minutes. With my style flying that you're seeing throughout this entire video, I'm getting up to 5 minutes, which is pretty good considering the Insta360 GO camera that you can see that I use. It has the 5-minute FPV function. So pretty much I'll plug the battery in, get ready to take off, start the camera recording, and then the camera is going to stop recording about the same time the battery runs dead. And I've brought it into land about the 4-minute 50-second mark every time. I don't do too much hard, crazy freestyle with this type of drone. In my opinion, that's not really what these are designed for. Now, there are people out there that do that with these, and they do it very, very well. But for me, I like the smooth kind of flying, I'm a bird, watch me, that type of stuff. And like I said, 5-minute flight time with that kind of flying style. If you're harder on the throttle and you're not really doing the smooth stuff, obviously it's going to go down, but that's probably where that 3.5-minute mark is coming in with the 450 milliamp hour batteries. I know other people are using a little bit heavier batteries. You do you, boo. Otherwise, on the HD cameras, so it comes with the Insta360 GO mount that you see here. This is a 15-degree mount. I believe they actually share the STL file for a 25-degree mount like this. And when you mount it on the little top plate here, the way the mount works is there's some tiny itty-bitty baby screws, these things here, that they just screw directly up into it. So it's not a nut and bolt situation. You screw it into the 3D print. It holds onto the actual screw. And you saw the crashes, or well, you saw the one big crash that I did with this, and it held up just fine. I thought for sure it would rip out, but no issue so far. Then you have so it does come with Naked GoPro stuff, which is their injection molded V2 Naked GoPro case. Now, I don't have a Naked GoPro. If you make Naked GoPros and you want to send me one to review, I'll take it. But I don't have a GoPro, and I would love to have one. I don't plan on doing that. It's not an investment that I feel that I need to make right now, especially since the Insta360 GO is doing more than what I need it for. So on the same note as the Naked GoPro case, they do send their Naked GoPro, what is this? The GoPro Hero 6/7 little BEC. And one thing that I did remove from mine is they had this cable that came off of the flight controller for the Naked GoPro. Obviously, if I'm not using it, I don't need it, so I cut it off of the drone. And then they have a 15-degree mount that when you have your Naked GoPro made up, you slide it into that, you put it on the drone, and you're good to go. And it comes with an extra set of the D63 Gem Fan props. So it's pretty cool how they give you all this extra stuff, and it's not just a drone. And they're like, hey, here's a quad. Now you got to buy your camera mount, and you want a Naked GoPro, you build one of those separately. But they really do give you some kind of upgrades with this, so that's nice of them. And as of the time of this video, I want to say this analog version was like $179 roughly, and if you do go the digital route, it's like $279, and then depending on what receiver you add into it, it goes up from there. So just to recap, BetaFPV 95x V2 with the Insta360 GO, it's going to be in my bag. This is something that I will be carrying around with me everywhere I go. But with this, being able to fly it inside, stable, getting some really cool smooth footage, taking it outside, picking up the speed, flying around, like this really is awesome. Beginner wise, if you bought the if you bought the BetaFPV Advanced Kit 2 and you're looking for a second drone, if you get this with the FrSky protocol, everything you got in that kit, the controller and the goggles on the analog version of this will work. Honestly, if you're flying that and you're doing good with it, this is a really good second option, second quad. We'll say that, second quad, because you're going to be able to do HD footage without needing to, scotch tape a camera onto that like I did in that previous video. But you're going to get your HD footage. You're going to get solid flight times, completely enclosed propellers, and BetaFPV has a full line of kind of micro size. So anything you go, you're going to love it. This thing here, I love it. I'm pretty sure you've gathered that by now if you've stuck through this entire video. And otherwise, let's just fly it. So, I'm going to stop talking now, and we'll just watch some of the videos that I've got over the past few days on flying this around, and you can see kind of how I tested it. So otherwise, subscribe if you're not. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for, supporting me and supporting the store. buddyrc.com if you need anything, hobby related. And if you do need something and it's not there, send us an email, leave me a comment. We'll see what we can do about getting it in stock. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. Let's do some flying. See ya.